Alrighty. Let's go. We're live. Alrighty. Start in a few moments. Another week, another episode. Start very soon. Excuse me. All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back for episode 16 of Benny in the Booth podcast. On this week's episode, we have a wildcard round weekend to recap, which absolutely went bonkers. Some with results that we expected, some absolutely nowhere where it was expected, as well as divisional round predictions, as well as more, and open maybe more other topics to talk about. Let's begin. Hello, everybody, and welcome back for episode 16. It is thank you for all the support to this point. I do want to re-stress, no matter how much troubling might be to try to set this up, if we could get to between 75 and 100 subscribers by the release of MLB The Show 22, which the advantage for everyone is they haven't even set a release date. I will do a opening night MLB The Show late stream and show you guys how it works on the first when you first open the game. And I've definitely learned my fair share of things from playing through the game. And even if you're not necessarily into video games, I think it would still be something interesting and a bit different. So let's try to get to that range. I want to say, I'm probably going to say it's going to be somewhere in April, late April, maybe May. But they have not said anything, and I think it's based on the lockout. We'll find out as we go along. But anyways, let's get into it this week. And obviously, for those that aren't aware, I had to push off this week's episode a day because I was in DC on Monday, as I'm on break, and I took advantage of being on break to do a little trip with my dad. I went to DC and actually went to the Wizards game on Monday. Nice arena. I'll actually get into that game towards the later end of the podcast. But I'm back, and let's get into this. Super Wild Card Round Weekend. First up, we had the Bengals and the Raiders, and this game was as good as advertised. Back and forth, knock for knock, both teams in it from beginning to end. There was a controversial touchdown, and basically the way to explain it was like the Bengals had it with if in the red zone, if not right before the red zone. And Burrow, who's their quarterback, was trying to roll out around the pocket, and he was right by the out of bounds. And the referee whistled the ball dead before he technically stepped out of bounds. But before he got out of bounds, he got the ball off to the end zone. The guy caught it and ended up being ruled a touchdown. But the controversy is, if it's ruled dead, it should be ruled dead. And honestly, I don't know where to say on this controversy. It is one of the weirdest of the year. But at the end of the day, and it did help the Bengals, but I don't know. But the Bengals did steal the win on a late pick off Derek Carr with a few seconds left. And for the first time in 31 years, yes, you heard me right, 31 years, the Bengals win a playoff game 26-19. And even as a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm happy they finally got over that hump. And I think all Browns fans can even, relate, because, Browns have had a lot of long playoff droughts. Maybe not exact number, but, Browns fans have all dealt with that. And I'm happy the Bengals are able to get over that hump. We'll see what happens this week in the divisional round. Next up, Buffalo, New England. So going in, I said last episode, I said Buffalo, but I was like, New England should still have a shot. Buffalo will win in a close game. New England didn't even show up. Now, yes, they did technically put up points, but the way they played, they basically did not get off the bus and show up. Seriously. And you can't blame Mac Jones for the interceptions. Both were just amazing plays by the defensive player. If not for the defender, the first one's a touchdown. I think the other one would have probably been a completion, not a touchdown. But you can't blame Mac Jones for those picks. But the performance in general was just completely bad by the team, and just bad. I mean, that one of the worst performances probably in Bill Belichick's career in the playoffs. Bad, really bad. And they ended up having their butts handed to them 47-17 by the Bills. And so we will not be getting a Brady v. Belichick Super Bowl, which a lot of people are happy about. Next up, Buccaneers hosting the Eagles. This was all Tampa Bay. They had shut out Philly for a while. Thank you for the whoever liked the stream. they just were all over Philly. Philly was shut out for a while, eventually put up a few points, but it was all Tampa Bay as they completely dominated Philly 31-15. But what was tough news for them is some of their offensive linemen, which was actually some of the more healthier part of their group, actually got hurt during the game. Haven't heard any much updates about them, but hopefully for Tampa's sake, they're okay. Next up, San Francisco at Dallas. This was the second ever playoff game that was done on Nickelodeon. Last year, Nickelodeon started a new thing that they're going to start having NFL playoff games on Nick. It's a representative of CBS connecting the network. So, like, the game, so if you don't want to watch on Nick, it will be on CBS or Paramount Plus. But either way, last year the game was trashed, and they got a lot better of a game this year in Dallas and San Francisco. Deebo Samuel was all over Dallas in this game. Like, completely, I mean, not dominated, but he was just all over Dallas. They had a hard time stopping him. The Cowboys tried to fight back as much as they could, but in the end, they ran a not-so-bright play call with 14 seconds left on a QB run, couldn't get a snap off, and the 49ers come to Dallas and upset the Cowboys 23-17. And I come out with a few points from this game. A tweet that I saw soon after this, and I'm going to share this with you. Via Sports Center, I think this was literally like posted within moments after the game had ended. The Cowboys have now gone, including the game against the 49ers, 11 straight playoff appearances without reaching the conference title game, the longest streak of all time. And that's not even to the Super Bowl. That's to the round before the Super Bowl. That's crazy. And I sit back and think about two things. One, obviously, before I make my point, Micah Parsons is a great player, great pick. Player-wise was the right pick for Dallas. Most likely, if not guaranteed, to be the defensive rookie of the year. But the question I sit back and say is, should they have gone corner? Their secondary, yeah, it had some bright spots, but overall was not the greatest. Definitely had some injuries at points. And there were some options on the board when Dallas picked. Offhand, I don't know what the options are, but I'm going to re-look it up. And technically, they didn't get the guy they wanted. I'm going to, to the person who talked in the live chat, Isaac R., I'm going to be talking about the Niners game soon. But to answer it quickly, he asked, do I think the Niners could keep the game close in Lambeau? Yes, because pretty much, I think all, if not most of the times, the Niners, actually take that back, I can't really say that. I think they can. Spoiler, I don't think they're going to beat the 49ers, but I do think they can keep it close, and at least to a certain point. I don't know about full game, but definitely think could keep it close, but I have the Packers winning that game. But very good question, Isaac. Thank you for the question in the live chat. So just give me 1 second so I can pull this up. So for context with the draft, Dallas originally had the 10th pick, but the corner they wanted in hold on 1 second. Why am I? Okay, here we go. And Patrick Surtain the third, was taking the pick before, and he didn't really have that much of a great year with Denver, anyways. But even from the 10th pick on, there were some corners still left on the board. And not just did they trade down with the Eagles down 2 picks, they ended up taking Micah Parsons, a linebacker. Now, again, like I said, great player, greater draft. I'm just more saying of position, because the corners that are still available had pretty good defenses here. Greg Newsome was still on the board. He had a great year with Cleveland. Yeah, he had some mistakes here and there, but he had a great year in Cleveland. Let's see. Eric Stokes, honestly, I don't know what he did much with Green Bay, but I'm saying I'm just giving the options more than like saying good or bad, more of just giving the options of what was still available. And this is even like between 10 and 12, there wasn't a corner taken. So this was all beyond the Cowboys pick and even before. Obviously after, but you get my point. Tyson Campbell was still on the board. Cornerback from Georgia. I guess I could say the colleges. Just in case people want to know. Caleb Farley was Virginia Tech. Greg Newsome was Northwestern. Eric Stokes is Georgia. Let's see who else was on the board. I'm specifying more corner. I guess could also say safety, even safeties. But Kelvin Joseph was still on the board out of Kentucky. We'll see who else, and so on and so forth. And even if you want to go to the safety department, there still was a bunch left. Jevin Holland from Oregon, Richie Grant from UCF, Trevon Moehrig from TCU. So, I just sit back and say, what if they would have taken someone in the secondary department than in the linebacker department? But again, though, Micah Parsons, great player, right player, great draft player pick. I just don't think the position was the right position. And I don't think any Dallas Cowboy fan would disagree with me on this statement. I think they definitely would agree with me on this. And probably a good amount of them are sitting back and wondering the same question. No matter how, well, actually, I'll just leave it at that. But anyways, Niners won 23-17, upsetting the Cowboys. Next up, Chiefs at Steelers. Steelers took a 7-0 lead early, but the Chiefs just wrecked down from there. And it got so crazy that the Chiefs actually ran out of fireworks for touchdowns during the game. But it was all Kansas City as Patrick Mahomes leads the Chiefs to a whoppee cushion win over Big Ben in his probably most likely his last game in the NFL, 42-21. And the last game, Arizona, LA. This was a complete blowout. Unlike Mac Jones, Kyler Murray's picks, including a pick six, which was actually almost a safety, which good job avoiding the safety, but you gave up more points in the end. So it's just like, okay, Shkaya still gave up more points then because he threw a pick six instead. He was god-awful in that game. I don't know what happened with Arizona. Like, they just were bad. Matthew Stafford had a great game, did not turn over the ball. OBJ had a pretty good game. Cooper Kupp had a good game. All LA, all over Arizona at home, 34-11. And that is a Super Wild Card Round weekend recap. My predictions record actually was positive for once at 4-2. Total record for regular season and playoffs for this year, just on the podcast alone now, with the wild card round included, is 126, 74, and 1. So let's get into the predictions for divisional round. Saturday kicks off once again. The Bengals get unlucky with a Saturday game. But Saturday kicks off at 4:30 with the Bengals going to Tennessee. Here's the thing with this game. If Derrick Henry was still out with injury, I'd have no doubt in my mind to pick Cincinnati. And even with Henry playing, they could be able to stop Derrick Henry. There have been a lot of teams that have been able to figure him out. I don't think they're going to be able to do it, though, in my honest view and opinion. And so I do pick Tennessee to win this game. But I think Cincinnati has a very good shot and could pull off the upset. But I don't think they're going to be able to. And I do think Tennessee will win this game. And then at 8:15, we have the rematch of the 2019 NFC Championship game between the San Francisco 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. I think, like I said, I think the Niners can keep it close, but I think the Packers will come on top and win this game. And then the two Sunday games at 3 p.m. we kick off with Buccaneers hosting the Rams. Congrats, Rams, on your road till this point. You're not getting past Tom Brady, or I don't think you will get past Tom Brady, as I've learned. Don't say a team cannot beat another team, but I don't think you will get past Tom Brady. And I have the Buccaneers winning this game. And then the last game, and this was a tough game for me to try to figure out picking. and I ended up just going with my gut feeling. Bills at Chiefs, rematch of last year's AFC Championship game where the Bills got absolutely creamed by the Chiefs. I think the Bills will win this, and this took a bit. I've had a lot of temptations go each way, and then the day I was like, as I said, with this year, you always have to have one upset pick a week. This is my upset. Maybe not a major upset, but this is my upset pick of the week. I have Buffalo beating Kansas City at Kansas City. I think either way this could be a close game. I think Buffalo can keep it close. I think they will do a lot better this year than last year. Either way, in playing the Chiefs, and I think in my prediction is that they will win. And that is the predictions for Super Walk for the divisional round. Before we go, I do want to mention, like I said, I would touch on the game I was at. Wizards at 76ers on Monday afternoon, which was an afternoon game because of MLK Day. It was a complete blow. It was blowout. There were some nice plays overall, but Kuzma and the Wizards were dominating the 76ers from beginning to end, dominating the Sixers in the end. Final score was 117-98. And that is a recap from that game, and that is this week's episode of the podcast. I know it's shorter than a lot of episodes, but with only NFL, really, it's gonna be a lot shorter these coming weeks. But like I said, I'm open to doing more stuff that, unlike NFL or NBA or MLB. Put in the comments if you have something that you want me to address. Put in the comments, put in live chat, and I'll do the research in between episodes and try to come back the next week and do it, because I'm willing to do stuff even that I don't plan to do. Put it in the comments, put it in live chat. I'm really open, and I really want to if people ask me to touch a certain topic. Like, I don't know, maybe there was a random person that asked a random medium question in the next coming week, for all I know, and I never heard about it, but someone mentions it to me, and I'll look into it, or something like that. I am really open to doing other topics within the sports that I talk about on this podcast that I don't have on my script. And yes, I do have a script for every episode. So please let me know in the comments. I am open to it. I'm open to any suggestions, and I will do as much diving into as I can and come back with a report for that episode. Either way, let's wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for coming back for episode 16 of the Benny in the Booth podcast. Next week, in episode 17, we'll have the NFL Divisional round to recap. Who won it? Who ends up winning? Who ends up losing? Where will there be upsets? We'll have the championship games to preview. And who knows what else could happen between now and then, especially if I get something in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's try to get to 75 to 100 subscribers by late April, early May. Leave the notification bell on it so you're notified when I go live or post video. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.